All right, so let's look at 16 potential downsides of AI in software testing. All right, so it's important for us to know that while AI offers speed, efficiency, and accuracy in software testing, it also comes with several potential downsides. This includes, over reliance on tools that may lack human judgment, difficulty interpreting AI-generated results, as well as the risks of, bias if training data is flawed. Implementing AI can be costly and complex, truth be told. Requires skilled, personnel to manage and maintain models. That's a plain truth. Additionally, AI may struggle with, edge cases, creative test scenario, or even understand, business context. So, making it an imperfect, substitute for human tester in, certain critical areas. So, take time to look at a few, 16, potential downsides of using AI in software testing. So the first on the list is job count compression, and why it can hurt testers or teams. Smart test generation, self-healing locators and ML-based, test selection can let one engineer maintain what used to, take about 3 engineers or 5 engineers. So, this reduces team size. Next is upfront cost and licensing. Yeah, good AI test platforms like Testing, Amplitude, and cheap. That's just the basic truth. These tools aren't cheap. Budget can shift away from human hiring towards tooling. All right. Next is the third one is steep learning curve. So here, tester must learn Python, prompt engineering, ML and metrics. So it's important that if we want to, evolve with AI, then we need to learn programming language like Python, prompt engineering, and ML metrics. Some of us may struggle or resist creating, skill gap. So steep learning is one of those downsides. So the fourth on my list is a hallucinated test. LLM generated scripts can include invalid selectors. Yeah, that happens, or illogical step that silently pass. So things like this happen. The AI tools are not perfect too, so we need to watch out. Moving on, the fifth on my list is force security. Okay, so management may assume AI is 100% coverage, reducing exploratory testing time. Sometimes this is not true. This is not the case. So force security too can happen. Next is data privacy risks. So yes, pasting logs file or code into public LMS can leak IP or customer data. So these are things we also need to be careful of. Data privacy, pasting company logs into public LMS tools. All right. Okay, so the next, which is the seventh one, is model bias. So ML trained on skewed bulk data may ignore underrepresented models, thereby missing critical regression. So things like this also happen, and like I said, it's not perfect. The eighth one is flaky self-healing. So auto-update locators can make real UI bug, by healing to the wrong elements. We've seen cases like this too, whereby you auto-updates, the AI tools auto-updates, locators for you, and we later found out that it's the wrong, element that is being updated. Okay, so next, which is the ninth, is code start problem. So here, risk-based test selection needs months of historical data. That's just the basic truth. It needs months of historical data. So new teams gain nothing early on when things like this happen. Next is number 10, which is debugging, black boxes. So here, when a machine learning model is, misprioritizes tests, things like this happen. So meaning like, for example, it selects or rank, wrong test as most important or urgent. It can be difficult to understand why it made that mistake. And this is because many ML models operate as black box. So that's where the internal decision-making process is not easily visible or interpretable. So that's on debugging black boxes. So moving on, the 11th one is overfitting to old bugs. So here, models may focus on yesterday's failure pattern and bled into today's outputs. Things like this to happen, and that's overfitting to old bugs. So next, the 12th one, which is maintenance drift. So here, it's a situation where, for example, like auto-generated tests can blot, the suits without pruning. CI time creeps back up. Things like this also happens during maintenance drift. Moving on, the next one, which is undervalued human insights. So here, teams might cut exploratory time, and because they feel AI has covered it, and leads to missing UX or accessibility issues AI can't see. So don't rely totally on AI. So that's on undervalued human insight. So the 14th one is regulatory uncertainty. Yeah. So AI-driven test data and auto decision may violate, GDPR if not governed. You get. So it's important that things like this are regularly checked and might require some human, intervention. All right, so the 15th one is infrastructure demands. Yeah, so vision tests needs GPU, snapshot storage, and costs and hops, overhead go up. So in terms of costing, infrastructure demands too can, be a potential downsides to using AI. And finally, talent polarization. So high performance upskill, which is good. Others may feel obsolete, hurting the team morale. And this is why we encourage that as a tester, it's important you start upskilling, driving yourself with AI tools, your deliverables with AI tools and all. So talent polarization can be a potential, downside to using AI. All right, so moving. So let's look at how a 10-person team can shrink to 5 with AI evolving. So the first one is the self-healing UI test. So one engineer now maintains, over 2,000 tests versus 3 to 4 people babysitting selector. Yeah, so that's one good thing we have on the table right now. And the work of 10 QAs before now can now be shrunk to 3 to 5 engineers leveraging on AI tools. All right. The next is LLM test generation. So junior tester who once hand wrote test cases, Jenkins, are now replaced by prompts plus review workflow. So this can even be a threat or a concern to junior testers who refuse to upskill. Before now, we once had wrote test cases, test scenarios, but today this writing of test cases can be prompts on ChatGPT and the likes, which makes the work faster. Okay, so next is a risk-based test selection. So ML models runs on top 15% of cases per PR, need fewer people monitoring long nightly runs. So this too can shorten or downsize a large team. Next is log clustering and auto triage. So NLP groups duplicate failures. One person handles the triage that used to require 3. So here we're just talking about the long lengthy thousands of logs that requires maybe 3 engineers to go through. Now one person can handle it using NLP tools. And the 5th, which is shift left automation. So now developers can use Copilot to write units, API tests, absorbing some QA tasks. which makes the work quicker and faster. So I haven't talked about the potential downsides of using AI in software testing, as well as how a 10-person team can shrink to 5. So now let's look at the net result of all this being said. So now management keeps probably 2 senior exploratory tester, 2 automation strategists, and probably 1 software development engineer in test, having headcounts while claiming equal or better coverage. So this is scenario or situations where a company has had to shrink or reduce the team size, leveraging on senior QA engineers who can explore better. And that's why I mentioned in some of my previous videos why exploratory testing is very important. As testers, we need to start developing a better techniques to execute exploratory test. And yes, the automation strategies, for those that knows automation and doesn't just stop at knowing automation but can use AI to speed up the automation tasks, will definitely be retained. So so here it is, and I hope I was able to pass in a meaningful and educative message to us all, and thank you for watching.